Good morning, Solaire 7. Calgary Battletech brings you Uncivil Discourse with your hosts, Brett, Lee, and commentary from Jacque. Let's shake up the room. Week 6 saw some mega mech destruction happening, people. Lots of great games, and down to the last couple of games before playoffs. Things are starting to solidify in the standings, but don't count your chickens before they roost. There's still some room for movement.
We've seen some big moves in the standings this past week. With a really impressive win, Riston's Rogues smashed their way into first place. With this win, they remain one of the only 2 undefeated teams at this point. 55th Shadow Division pulls up second place. We see Hubris Inc. slip down into third, after being in first for the majority of the season so far. Merrick's Marauders moving up from 6th to that coveted 4th place. Eat it, Jacque. And the executive outcome holds strong at 5th. Blitzkrieg Jezebels are rocking that 6th position. Our next 2 positions are being highly fought over, though. 7th place, we see the First Clovis Lancers. These boys have hunger for that playoff slot. 8th place, we see our biggest mover this week. The Cavalier Commandos jump 5 positions up from 13th and are a tie ahead of the rest of the pack of playoff-hungry teams. With 2 games left in the season against players without the best track records, we could see this team as one of our final 8.
While positions 1 to 8 are coveted playing for the trophy, don't discount the 9 to 16 ranks as well, people. They're going to be scrapping it out for the runner-up trophy, so everyone still has something to win. With that in mind, speaking of trophies, we can't forget about the Phoenix Hawk Memorial Trophy. This is an award given out for the player who made either a significant tactical blunder or something that went just horribly wrong. I'm Cobra Chicken. Start making notes, people. This is a player-nominated award, which means you are going to be the ones to decide who gets this trophy. So think back to your games this season and see who you want to nominate for the notoriety, infamy, or just plain shame. We also have the Good Egg Award, given out as our Sportsmanship Award. And finally, the Master Tactician Award, the player you thought had a strong super grasp of the game and tactics and strategy. This could be playing on the tabletop, skill selections, stable choices, mech choices that made a difference over the season in its entirety, not based on your standing. Now, let me dial it back to the rankings. Holding position number 9, we have the Clan Cobra Chickens, still reaching for that top 8. I honestly think these guys are done. Stick a fork in them. They're done. The way they have dropped, they done. They out.
Yep.
Crimson Ronin are hot on their heels in 10th. These boys are going to be the ones to watch. I could see them going up definitely. Ghost Legion, surprisingly, up 3 spots from 14 to 11 this week. Brett has had the toughest opposing strength on the schedule this year and has fought through that to be a playoff contender.
Nope.
Watch the Ghost Legion to give the Cavalier Commandos and the First Clovis Lancers a good run for that last playoff spot. Carstar Sales aren't out of the fight yet, rocking 12th place, but it's got a tough road to try and get into the top spots.
With all 4 teams holding the same record of 3 wins, 1 loss, and a tie, the Clan Cobra Chickens, Ghost Legion, the Crimson Ronin, and Carstairs are really fighting over position.
The Einhiljar are in 13th, lucky 13. But remember, they pulled a tie against Riston's Rogues and beat executive outcome earlier in the season, so nothing's out of the question for these guys, as a solid final 2 games from the Einhiljar could have them sneak past the opposition and get into the playoffs. Killer Bunnies are hopping into round number 14. Red Suns, the regulars, and the Macross Sables tail end Charlie at 15 and 16.
With the regular season starting to wrap up, we really want to remind the players of the importance of showing up for their games and making sure that the commitment to play also respects the time and efforts of both their opponents and the administration.
This week, we have a bunch of different skills being picked up. The Draconis Spirits Stalker picks up Gunnery. Einherjar Dragonfire Gunnery. Ghost Legion's Warhammer picks up Target Lock. Carstairs Stables Battlemaster decides that it's going to be combat wise. Killer Bunny's Zeus picks up Technician, moving the Mewtwo Pulse Laser from the rear to the front. Hubris Inc.'s Zeus picks up Gunnery. Executive Outcomes Warhammer is a little lethargic now. ShietHawks Dervish grabs Clan Salvage on the other M10. The ShietHawks Warhammer also picks up Gunnery. And the Phoenix Hawk picks up Personal Vendetta. Somebody has decided to finally spend some points. 55th Shadow Division Banshee is also feeling a little lethargic. First Clovis Lancers, Devastator leading the target. Crimson Ronin, Crusader, is feeling just a little bit more ballsy and picks up Gunnery. Merrick Marauder Stalker, Forest Fire. Red Suns Irregulars, Centurion, also picks up Clan Salvage. This is the third LRM-10 we've seen Clan Salvaged. Blitzkrieg Jezebels, Trebuchet picks up Gunnery. Clan Cobra Chickens, Orion picks up Gunnery. And Riston Rogues, Banshee picks up Pathfinder.
These spends are just amazing with how many of the stables have been saving. And this is the time to do it, to get those important spends in, to switch your positions around to see if you can hopefully change your luck. I see all these as very, very good strategic movement on all the stables involved this season.
Yeah, this week we had 7 stables pick up Gunnery for a grand total of 13 times that skill's been picked up this year. The first game we look at was played early. Clan Cobra Chickens crossed the river basin to face the 55th Shadow Division. Jacque, tell us a little bit about that game.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this was a ring-a-ding-dong-dandy. North versus South, good versus evil, light versus dark. And surprisingly, not a lot of shit-talking between the two teams. These two teams went into the arena very respectfully, looking forward to keep it a nice, clean match. Now, just because of the nature of the river basin, you really didn't have a lot of action for first 5 or 6 turns until people started getting in range and getting those numbers that they needed to hit. Some of the highlights from the game: turn 9, Shoot Us comes up to the Awesome with the autocannon 20, says, "How you doing?" And then the Awesome responds back with tagging him in the head with a PPC and then getting the cockpit. Boom, Shoot Us, gone, bye-bye. Thank you for playing. Turn 9, first down. Yes, Clan Cobra Chickens actually got the first kill. 2 turns later, the Hunchback went up like a Roman candle from a hit to one of its LRM ammo bins that hadn't fired any yet, so it was a full bin. Didn't cascade the second one, but it still took the mech apart, because unfortunately, this one doesn't have any case in it. The shot of the game, this was beautiful. It couldn't have been a better shot. The Banshee went up against the Awesome after taking withering amounts of fire as it was coming in from both the Awesome and the Archer on the Clan Cobra Chicken side. Double tap kill, ladies and gentlemen. PPC to the center torso, coring it out at the exact same time. PPC to the head, taking the head off because of a previous hit, taking some of the external armor off. Man, don't even make an Amber Alert for this Banshee. You're not getting this one back 55th. It's gone. Burn it. Unfortunately, the game did go against the Cobra Chickens. 2 of their mechs had to bow out for surrenders because both their pilots were asleep and couldn't do anything. But all in all, it was a good game.
From what you've been telling me, John, your big strength is long range, and the river basin really shortened the game up on you. That puts all the advantage on the 55th Shadow Division with their autocannon 20s and autocannon 10s and PPCs that he's thrown out. Sorry to hear that you lost. Sorry to say that the North has swept the administrative side of the Uncivil Discourse team. But we'll see how the rest of the year goes.
Not much to say for our next game, as it was called on account of the colds. Blitzkrieg Jezebels and Macross Stables pick up a no-play tie.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That would have been a good game. That tie ends up putting the Blitzkrieg Jezebels a single point behind the Merrick's Marauders, pushing them a little bit further down the standings, but still safely inside the playoff situation.
Yeah, there's not much you could have done about this one. Personal well-being is first and foremost the important thing, and life can get in the way.
Game number 3, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Red Suns Irregulars use their bribery to pick a side of the river valley, forcing the Ghost Legion playing from behind before a single shot is even fired. Tons of damage is thrown out this game, but the irregulars are really unable to capitalize on it as the Ghost Legion runs roughshod over them 4-0.
That 45-ton 6.9 Wolf Trap with the LB-10X autocannon, the Clan LRM-10, and a pair of medium lasers pulled out 3 of the 4 kills. It doesn't even have jump jets. But the cluster shots of that LBX just show how important those crit-seeking weapons are.
Never underestimate the power of the Golden BB. Not a lot of people like the LBXs, and hey, that's their personal preference. But when you can get a buckshot throwing weapon, even if you don't have big holes in the mech already and you're firing at the rear armor where it's basically paper thin, it is eventually going to go through once you get enough pellets on target. Be aware of the clusters. Big point today.
Game number 4, we see Cavalier Commandos versus the Crimson Ronin. Wooded Hills see this front-runner match played out in probably our closest game that could have swung either way. Commandos pick up a 1-0 victory.
It was a good game. Cavalier Commandos are, like you said last week, Brett, are such veterans. They've been playing longer than the Crimson Ronin stable master's been alive.
This was a really good game. It's nice to see the Commandos getting their feet under them, getting some strength, getting some steam, getting into the playoffs. I'm really hoping these guys go up in the playoffs and possibly take it.
Game number 5, we've got the Einherjar return to the Plains of Death. Last time they were here, they faced off against the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. Folks, this time they take aim on the Draconis Spirits.
This game played out as our only fought to a standstill tie game, folks. 2-2, and it was an amazing match to watch. Great gameplay, great maneuvering, some frustration on the Einherjar for not being able to finish off a few mechs that they thought they had in the bag, but in the end, a great tie from 2 great teams.
Yeah, this was a good one. It went either way. It was back and forth. Well hard fought, well earned tie between the two. I mean, if you can't get the win, take a tie. It still helps. Gets you some points.
Game number 6, First Clovis Lancers put Luck and XL Engines on the line against the Carstairs Stables on our own custom map 3, the Winter Wonderlands.
Multiple times during this game, the Clovis Lancers slapped around the gents from Carstairs. Backshot ammo explosions causing both the Thunderbolt and the Battlemaster lose the torso attached to that key shooting arm. It really played a large part of how this game played out, simply because once they were on the tail of the enemy, they never stopped chasing them down till they were dead.
4-1 victory for Lancers here, folks, and yeah, they really lanced the other guys. This is getting to be the proof of case. If you don't have case, your mech's going to go boom. That being said, case isn't readily available through most of the league, but still, it is an advantage if you can invest in it. Keep that in mind for next season.
Now, both of those mechs that died, the Thunderbolt and the Battlemaster, had case. So they kept around for a little while, but they were hamstrung by losing a torso and the attached arm.
Yeah, actually, the Battlemaster got a kill in before it was finally finished off.
Game number 7, we see Merrick Marauders play Pavement Princess and do a dance all over with the Killer Bunnies on the Pavement Experience Arena. Lee, what are some of the highlights from this one?
Oh, it was a great game. Laura played fantastic, did exactly what she was planning on doing through most of the game. Kept her mech bunched around her Dragonfire so that she could have that ECM protection against my Narc Missile Beacon and Artemis 4. Things really were going really even until a critical failure on her Grand Dragon's ability to shake off a little bit of pilot damage. Lost consciousness on the first hit. Fell down just out of kicking range of my Awesome, who then backed up into a heavy set of trees in the next turn, laid fire into it, and then kicked off its left torso, killing it with 3 engine hits. Next turn, I backed the Awesome up. She ran her Shadowhawk within kicking distance of my Awesome, and I ended up shooting it in the head, rolling boxcars for the number of criticals, blowing the head off, putting me up 2-0 really early. Meanwhile, her Dragonfire charged up on my Stalker, which it had personal vendetta against, and laid 2 rounds of fire into it, really accurate fire with its Gauss rifle, hitting the left torso twice, putting into that cascade ammo explosion into 3 of the 4 ammo bins in that torso, melting the pilot and putting it down. Jacque, you don't have anything you want to say about that statement, do you?
Now you know how it feels.
In the end, it wasn't enough, though, to turn the tides of the battle. Laura ended up having some pretty poor luck with my weapons fire as well. My autocannon 20 from my Centurion caught her Zeus twice in the right leg, making it where any other damage ended up taking the leg off. And then her Dragonfire ended up losing consciousness after I caught the Gauze rifle with a critical hit, blowing it up, knocking her out cold, and then it was just clean up at that point.
Oh, sounds like it was a good game. Everybody at least had a chance to do some damage to each other. It's nice to see the Stalker's brain getting melted. It's nice to see some karma balancing. But good try by the Bunnies. They go up against the Klein Cobra Chickens next, and I'm sure they'll pull a win out of that hat.
I was super impressed by that game. She was coming in, she was going hard at you, she was just getting you in a position to really take advantage of you, and then unconscious on the first hit, followed by losing a mech to a head cap, just slides downhill. All in all, I was really impressed with the match, though.
Oh yeah, she played a great game. It could have totally gone the other way, except for a couple of lucky rounds.
Game number 8, we see Hubris Inc., Riston's Rogues, first and second place teams. Betting was high on this match, folks. And money changed hands as the Rogues pull out a 3-2 win for this match along the road in the hills.
I won 50,000 C-bills, man. My boy took it to her. The game was tight. First round of fire that actually meant anything. Both SRM-6s from the Wolverine, I believe, of the Riston's Rogues, hit the Devastator. One floating critical to the center torso, boxcars for number of criticals, 2 engine hits, and a gyro hit. Immediately putting the Devastator on its ass, and making it where it had to struggle with that problem from that point on. The second round after that, they put a whole ton of fire into the Riston Rogues Banshee. It fails its conscious check, falls unconscious at the feet of all of Hubris Inc.'s mechs. They lay 2 rounds of constant fire and foot pounding to take it out, but at that point they had absorbed a lot of fire from the rest of Riston's Rogues mechs as well. From that point on, it was just a circle of death. And the fact that the Rogues pulled out a 3-2 win shows how tight that game was.
They're still picking up after this match, even after all this time. This was ugly, but it's what you expect when you have the top 2 teams in the league going head to head. This was beautiful. This was a violent work of art. That's all I can say about it.
What I remember, the Archer cored the Cataphract, and that Archer did a lot of work. I think it picked up 2 kills in my match with him earlier in the season. It is definitely doing a lot of work for Riston's Rogues. Those Archers that we're seeing, putting in the time. Game number 9, we've got the executive outcome, meet up with the ShietHawks in the foothills.
This game was a nail-biter. Total nail-biter. Probably Michael's best game all season long. With some great sportsmanship from JP, exactly what we were expecting. We didn't see an outcome till the very end of this game. 2-1 for the Executives' victory.
This game was a classic example of why our community is one of the best ones, just because you have a very veteran player, very experienced player going up against a rookie, not taking advantage of it, making sure that he understands the mistakes, making sure that he understands where he's going, and not giving him the game, making him fight for it. But with the executive outcomes getting a 2-1, it could have been worse. It could have been 4-0. But no, this was an example of sportsmanship, pure and simple. Okay, boys and girls, a couple of new ones that we haven't heard from off old Uncle Jacque's list. First one, we've got from the game of the ShietHawks and executive outcome. And now it's time to bite the pillow. Phoenix Hawk giving it to the Warhammer and the Banshee, biting the pillow, constantly hammering it from behind. It was quite funny to see the executive outcomes mechs, being the veteran players that they are, struggling to get away from someone who constantly stayed in their rear arc. The second one, ballin', but at what cost? We've got the Red Sons Irregulars, Angry Caesar. He took a personal disliking to the Ghost Legion Gunslinger, must be something to have it against the Ghost Rifles or something, and just hammered it. 3 Gauss rounds and a PPC into the right leg, knocking it down on the ground. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep the momentum going, so balling at what cost? The early victory led to the Ghost Legion Wolf Trap killing almost the entire Red Sun's lance. That was the scary thing about the Wolf Trap and what we went back to, the Golden BBs. Be careful of those. But those are the awards for this week.
All right, everybody, we've got a different interview for you. We have decided to pick up on Michael since he did so well and has shown some growth. Lee, go ahead and take us into that interview.
On tonight's episode of Uncivil Discourse, my interview is going to be with Michael Pardy. He is the commanding officer or stable manager of the ShietHawks stable, one of our new members, and just happens to be my son-in-law. But don't worry, I'm going to ask him the tough questions, folks. Welcome to the show, Michael. Glad to have you.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a really good day. So what we do is we have a series of questions, 5 in total, where I'm going to ask you. We're going to have a little bit of a conversation about it. Starting with the first question. What on earth inspired your team name? It has been very difficult not to get censored by YouTube with talking about team name, but what got you into using it?
Well, a few reasons. I think the main one was I did not expect to do great in this league, and I wanted just like a really funny, trashy name. And the first thing I thought of was Randy and Leahy from the Trailer Park Boys, and I was like, what if they had a fleet of mechs? And my team has definitely proven to go up to the name. Lots of falling down and killing myself. So I think it holds true.
Yeah, your place in the standings are showing that things aren't going exactly as planned, but you're showing a ton of improvement. We've been actually really impressed, and you are one of the commentators and hosts' favorite players. So moving on to question 2. What has influenced your style of play?
When I was picking my fleet, I wanted 2 light mechs, a medium mech, and a heavy mech. 2 light mechs to kind of like run around the board and push people towards my heavier mech, and then my medium mech just kind of there for a purpose. As I've been playing, I have been changing that style a little bit, mostly because my light mechs, true to their name, are very light on armor.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard to scare people towards a bigger mech when you're such a wonderful light target. Throughout playing those games, just adapting little by little, still with the idea of trying to nail people with my larger mech, my Devastator. But now I've just more so just kind of plopped him in one place and just, let him be the lookout and try and pick people off here and there. And then my other guy just kind of, I'm giving away all my strategies here. I'm not going to give out too much here.
Only 2 games left in the regular season. Michael, I think you're okay. Just so the fans at home understand what Michael's saying. First off, it's a lance, not a fleet. Secondly, it's 2 mediums, a heavy, and an assault. Lights are a different class of mech that you haven't played a whole lot in the amount of time you've been playing. So nothing wrong with what you've been saying. Just for the people at home so they understand what we're talking about. No, we don't have light mechs in the Calgary Battletech League. Moving on to question number 3. Since you've been playing for a while, have you picked up a favorite weapon? Is there something that you really enjoy using?
Yeah, the Gauss rifle. Yeah, it's low heat, high damage.
Yeah, it's a great gun. So, moving on to question 4, that was a pretty easy question. Who's been your favorite opponent so far in League?
Well, that's not fair to all the opponents, but I don't know. I would probably say Mackenzie. All the matches have been really fun, but I don't know. It was just really, really nice. They were really, really friendly. She was just a great opponent and very welcoming, and I don't know. No one's really been ruthless and been like, haha, I've got you. But a really fun game, a lot of really fun moves. I can't remember specifically what was happening, but we had this gentleman's agreement, is what she called it, for our devastators to not ping off each other's devastators. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, no, it was just it was a fun match. The terrain was good. Just the way we played together was just lots of joking, lots of fun. A quite enjoyable opponent for sure.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but positive things about anybody who's been playing against Mackenzie, so I completely agree with you. That's a great choice. Everybody has been great at League from what I've been seeing so far this season, and I'm glad you found somebody that you really enjoyed sitting down across the table from. So moving on to our last question. Is there anything you want to say to your upcoming opponents and just the League in general?
The League in general, I don't know. I quite like the League. It's quite nice. I like meeting where we're meeting. I love meeting at the Ogre's Den. That's great. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Everyone's been really friendly and nice, and no one's been a jerk. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty great. It's like for my first time going into a league, everyone's been really welcoming and really understanding and really helpful. So yeah, none of those stupid tropes on TV of that one person that comes in and deals all the magic cards and wins everything, and if they lose, they rip everything up and flip the table. Like, none of that garbage. It's just a nice group of sane people having a good time.
Yeah, it's been very good. I haven't found anybody except those darn guys from up north who are real jerks. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. But no, actually, everybody's been really good. And to be honest, the seasons before, when we found people that really weren't League-type people, they weaned themselves out because they realized that their attitudes and their behavior isn't acceptable. And eventually they just leave. Anyway, Michael, this has been a fantastic interview. Thank you so much for jumping in, especially last moment. And look forward to seeing you this upcoming Sunday for Week 7's games.
Yeah, that is just, it's every other Sunday. That's right. We didn't play today. Haha. See you next week.
All right. Talk to you later.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye. We now move on to week number 7's games. Game number 1 has the Killer Bunnies with 2 wins, 4 losses, and no ties, up against our popular team, the Clan Cobra Chickens, 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie. This game's going to be a good one. These are 2 people really fighting for that 8th and final playoff spot. Killer Bunnies have had a rough couple of games where they've had things just not quite going their way, and the Clan Cobra Chickens' luck has been faltering. However, they've played some really solid games against some really tough teams. My money is going to go on the Clan Cobra Chickens turning things around and getting themselves back into contention. I'm going to say a 2-1 win for the Clan Cobra Chickens.
All right, Lee, that's definitely one way to call this. Both teams having 2 wins. I got a feeling that they're hungry for a third, but I got to go with the Killer Bunnies. They've had some bad luck. Cobra Chickens, almost by definition, are bad luck. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game for these 2 teams. It is going to go with probably a 4-3 Killer Bunny victory over the Clan Cobra Chickens.
Clan Cobra Chickens are done. Stick a fork in them. These guys are roasted. Get the stuffing, get the mashed potatoes, get the gravy. Cobra Chickens are done. They had their chance. They blew it. They done. Put them away. It's going to be the Killer Bunnies 4-0.
Game number 2 sees the ShietHawks with no wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties, up against one of our only 2 unbeaten teams, the Blitzkrieg Jezebels, with 3 wins, no losses, and 3 ties. This is family for me, and I can't call nepotism because one of the 2 of them have to win. I guess they could pull out a tie. I'm going to say Blitzkrieg Jezebels pull this one out, putting herself solidly in the top 8 with a 3-1 victory.
All right, so I got 2 calls for this one. The first one is how I think it's actually going to play out, and then I'm going to call how I want this to play out. This is going to be a Blitzkrieg Jezebels, probably 2-0 victory. I think she is just going to run, smack dab, and hammer the ShietHawks. I don't think she'll be able to get the 3rd kill before time expires, though. Now, that being said, I would love to see a 1-0 ShietHawks victory. That would throw our standings into such a chaotic mess that it would just be entertaining to see.
Oh, I'm going to agree with Brett on this one. I would love to see the ShietHawks pull a win off of this one. 1-0, like Brett said, the chaos would just be beautiful. The odds makers' brains would be imploding with the changing of the status of all the teams. That being said, Blitzkrieg Jezebels have the power of the mother-in-law. Never underestimate the power of the mother-in-law. But I'm still going to say ShietHawks are going to take this one.
That is a ballsy call. Game number 3 sees the 55th Shadow Division with 5 wins, 1 loss, and no ties. They're facing up against the Red Suns Irregulars, 1 win, 4 losses, and a tie. I think the top 4 have pretty good locks on their games. I don't see a whole lot of trouble with most of them beating anybody who's below the 500 record. However, Red Suns Irregulars have the mechs. They have decent team. Depending upon the number of turns played, I think we're going to see a Shadow Division win of 2-0 or a 3-1, depending upon how long the game goes.
Having just played Gary and his Red Suns Irregulars, I know he's got a solid grasp of the game. I know he's got a good way to get numbers to hit. He just has to try and get things to group up. If he can consolidate some shots, he has a chance of taking a tie game or a loss out of the Shadow Division. That being said, I think the tactical knowledge of the Shadow Division is going to keep it at the very worst to a 2-1 victory, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be a 4-2 victory for the Shadow Division.
Yeah, as much as I hate to admit it, Shadow Division's going to take this one. 4-2, 4-1. It's going to be a ugly game for the paid actors of the Shadow Division. It's what can we say? These guys are one of the big powerhouse teams, and they're only going to go up from here.
Game number 4. We see the Macross Stables with 0 wins, 3 ties, 3 losses. They're going to meet up against the Kevlar Commandos, our almost perfectly even team of 2 wins, 2 ties, 2 losses this week. We're looking at, once again, another situation where the Kevlar Commandos need to get in there and get those wins. A tie's not going to cut it. I think they're going to come in really aggressively and stomp on the Macross Stables' chances of getting their first win. I'm going to go with another low-scoring game, but I'm going to go 1-0.
I'm really looking forward to this game being played out. It's going to be a game that is going to come down to the wire. Cavalier Commandos are going to pull a win. It's going to be a 2-1 or a 2-0 win. Dave just doesn't score super high, but he doesn't lose much of anything either. So it is going to be through and through just a game that is well played, but the Cavalier Commandos are going to sneak out the win.
Oh, yeah. Cavalier Commandos all the way. All the way. Again, agree. Not a high-scoring game. 2-1, maybe 3-2, depending on how good the Cavalier Commandos can hit. But, yeah, this one's definitely going for the Commandos. These guys are the comeback from behind boys. They're the Cinderella team. They're going to be the ones to watch.
Game number 5. We see the Crimson Ronin, that's Ronin, with 2 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. They're going to be facing up against the Einhajar with 1 win, 2 losses, and 3 ties. I've been positive about the Einhajar all season. A lot of times they're beating themselves. I think they're going to deal with a lot of their experience coming in. They're going to outmaneuver the Crimson Ronin. They have plans on how to deal with that Hunchback, and possibly even a way to dealing with the Atlas. I'm going to give the Einhajar a win on this one. It's going to be 3-2.
This game is something that I really want to see. We have 2 players that are both capable of defeating themselves. The Crimson Ronin, my kid, he has a solid grasp of the game. He's pretty lucky early on. I think that is going to give him a really big advantage. Not because I don't think he can outplay the Einhajar, but I think he's going to get lucky, and that might throw the game right into a spiral. Chris, with his Einhajar, definitely has more experience, definitely has a better grasp of the strategy and tactics, but I think absolutely it's going to be a 3-2. No, it is going to be a 4-3 game, and it's going to the Ronin.
Oh, I'm going to go for the Iron Hill Yar like I always do. I'm going to back these guys until my dying day. Yeah, they just got to keep the focus, keep it going forward. Don't get too frustrated. Just keep focusing on that win. It's going to be 3-2 for the Iron Hill Yar.
Moving on to game number 6. We've got the other most popular team in the league, the Ghost Legion. 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie. They're looking to chase down another win here for some playoff placements up against the Dracona Spirits, who've been our luckless team of the season with 0 wins, 5 losses, and a tie. But some of the best attitudes coming into the games we've seen. Between them and the ShietHawks, I don't think anybody else really holds the spirit of what we want League to be more than these 2 teams. That being said, the Ghost Legion are on a roll. Their next 2 games are going to decide whether or not they make the playoffs or not, and this is going to be another move into the win column for the Ghost Legion. I'm going to say 3-1.
I'm looking forward to this game, but I wish it would have come sooner in the season. Had this been one of my first couple of games, I probably would have had a far more relaxed game that I'm going to play against Chris and his Dracona Spirits. As it is, I need to put some kills and I need to put some wins on the board. So I'm going to have a good game. We're going to have a great time. But I think I'm going to go out to try and kill all 4 of his mechs and all 4 of my next opponent's mechs as well.
Nope.
Ooh, the big talk has begun. Will he be able to do it? I just hope that Karma doesn't decide to balance it out. But that being said, having watched Dracona Spirits play, I'm going to have to give this one to the Legion. It's not going to be a blowout. So I don't think you're going to get the points you're looking for there, Brett. But it's going to be, I'm thinking 3-2. 3-2 for Legion.
Starting to wrap up the week, we have game number 7. We have the Carstairs Stables with 2 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. They're going to be running into some seriously challenging work this week up against Hubris Inc. 4-1-1. 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. Pushing them out of the lossless category with their loss against the Riston's Rogues. And it's going to be fun, though. Carstairs Stables needs to get in there and stomp some things around to try to make the playoffs. Hubris Inc. needs to get their mojo back to push themselves back into the top spot. My bet is going to be Hubris Inc. are going to take it, but it's going to be tight. I'm seeing 3-2 or 4-3. I'm going to go with 3-2 just to actually make a decision, though.
I think this is definitely going to be a game that's going to be had. It's going to be fun. People are going to enjoy. And I think that Devastator is just going to pull up another 2 kills. With that being said, I think it's probably going to be a 4-2 victory for Hubris Inc. Because that Devastator and the rest of Relance is just going to kill everything. But Carstairs Stables has enough going for them. They're going to make it costly, and they're going to pull down some kills as well.
This one's going to go for Hubris Inc. Definitely. It's going to be, I'm thinking a 4-3. It's going to be brutal. But, yeah, that Devastator is going to tee up again. I can see that thing putting down quite a few mechs this game.
Moving on to game 8. First, Clovis Lancers, probably the most overlooked team of the league. With 3 wins, 2 losses, and a tie, it's in the positive running. But we haven't been talking that much about it other than how lucky that Rifleman is. They're going up against the Merrick's Marauders, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. Probably the most hated team in league other than those 55th Shadow Division, at least according to the other commentators. I'm going to say this is going to be knockdown, drag-out fight, game of the week. Merrick's Marauders, 4-2.
Now, I'm jaded on this one, because if the Clovis Lancers beat the Merrick Marauders and they beat them significantly, then that just gives me that much better chance into the playoffs. I honestly believe that either team could take this, and I truly believe that it's going to be a 3-2 victory for whoever gets it, but I'm hoping for a 4-1 blowout for the Clovis Lancers.
Oh yeah, Clovis Science is going to beat the Merrick Marauders like a redheaded stepchild. 4-0. They're going to get stomped. Merrick's Marauders are too up off their win off the Killer Bunnies and the luck that they had. Nah, Marauders are going down. 4-0.
Pretty sure you've been calling that most of the season against me. Jacque, you want to actually try to recoup some of those losses you've been taking this year?
Hey, I'll eventually get it right.
He just knows what going down looks like.
On that note, we'll move on to game number 9.
Pain. Literally pain.
We have the Ristons Rogues, the other unbeaten team of the league with 5 wins, no losses, and 1 tie. They were going up against the executive outcome. 4 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss. And that's our game number 9, folks. And I'm going to say, I thought the last game was the game of the week. This is another crunchy game. This is a critical game for both these teams. One to keep their first place slot, and the other one to show the domination they're capable of as a double league champion. I'm hoping for a tie to give me a chance to be able to catch up to them, but I'm pretty sure the executive outcomes experience is actually going to pull them past the Ristons Rogues. This is the first time all seasons I'm going to call somebody against the Rogues. Executive outcome 3-2.
This could go either way. This will not be a tie. This will be a victory. It'll be another one in the win column for one of these two teams. However, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a 3-2 end game. I think the Rogues are still going to hold strong and continue to be undefeated.
2 experienced teams going at each other. No quarter will be asked. No quarter will be given. This is going to be 4-3. Oh boy. I'm flipping a coin here. I have no idea who's going to take the top spot. But I'm just going to say the score is going to be 4-3, and whoever takes the score, they take the score.
So, moving into the end of our show this week, I have to say, I have never been so impressed. I've been involved in all 3 versions of the league as an admin. I have been involved in championship games. I've been involved in some of the most boring, drag out, everybody can't hit nothing type games. This season has had none of that. We've had beautiful games, beautiful opponents, great community, and some of the best sportsmanship from people that have done exactly what we need them to do. They've brought people up and kept them going.
Oh, another week in the books, everybody. Time to get your bets in for next week so you can make bank and who can't. And just as a little side note, for anyone unaware, there have been weekly door prizes for some of the teams, awarded from the pool of winners from each of the games. Week 1 winner, Executive Outcome, managed to snag a fancy Executioner Omni-Mech. How they got that one from the clan front, I have no idea. Week 2 was a tie, so your Ristons Rogues got a new Mad Cat, and the Clovis Lancers added a Battlemaster to their group. Week 3, Huber Sync picked up a Mad Cat 2, which is a very scary mech. Week 4, the American Marauders bribed somebody, got himself a new Phoenix Hawk. And week 5, Crimson Ronin picking up a Nova Prime. Very scary. Whether or not we'll see some of those new advanced shiny toys in the season next year is still up in the air with the admins, but I can assure you the next season is going to be just as good. Everybody have yourselves a good week. Keep your head on the swivel and keep your beer cold.
To jump in on that, before Brett writes off the end of the show, please note, these are miniatures people got. They don't get to add these mechs to their stables.
Yes, we used some of the cash from the league to buy new models, and we're giving them out as some of the prizes. So just a little something for everybody coming out every week to say, hey, we appreciate you being part of it. It's not all about the trophy or the standings at the end. Here's something for somebody every single week. All right, folks, that leaves us just 1 match to go after this week, and then we're off onto playoffs. It's been a fantastic Reborn season so far, and I'm just happy to have all of you having chosen to be a part of it with us. Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night, and lights out.